right, Eric, good morning.
Morning, sir.
You want to give us an overview and head us into where we're going?
Yes, sir. We can start off with the 4th of July. 4th of July went well on our side. We didn't really have too many issues going on. A couple lost children, which is to be expected during the 4th of July event. We did have one criminal mischief incident, but we weren't alert to that till afterwards. We're on it right now trying to find out the identity of the person who bent the fence over there. So when it comes to the last rating period, the deputies responded to 2,905 calls for service. They wrote 497 reports, conducted 1,387 traffic stops, and wrote 738 citations, 68 felony arrests, and 169 misdemeanor arrests. That's just for this past rating period alone. So getting into the crime, we start off, we had 9 domestic violence aggravated that were CBA'd, which is cleared by arrest, and we filed 1 with the state attorney. We had 31 simple domestic violence, which were CBA'd, 2 pass-on affidavits that we're still looking for the subject, and we have 1 that we have a warrant on. And that will bring us to page 9. So first burglary we have. The suspect forced entry into 8 vehicles and damaged 1 other vehicle. This was TOT'd over to CID.
Morning, Sheriff.
Good morning.
This individual was seen on some of our Fusus cameras going into the parking lot, wearing all black, broke into several vehicles, smashing windows. Nothing was really taken out of the vehicles. Even a Glock handgun was left behind. There are some missing credit cards, but none of them has been used. At this point, we don't have any fingerprints or anything that's come back. We did a geofence on the area. Nothing's come back with that. Obviously, there's a lot of people in the parking lot that you can see moving around during that time of the thefts. We believe this subject may be responsible for another one that we can talk about.
Yeah, go ahead. Go into it.
Which is on case number 24-14197, 2622 North Normandy, the Nutty Bavarian. Similar incident where forced entry was made into a storage shed. Some tools were taken. No video of a vehicle or anything coming into the parking lot. We think it's an individual either on a bicycle or walked in on foot. We did a geofence on that, and nothing's come back on that one as well. So we're still working on the leads, trying to figure out who this person is. Probably a local transit in the area.
It's kind of weird, you know, with all that lighting in Amazon, those bright lights, and you got to know there's a lot of security cameras in there.
Very well lit, and
Yep.
all the security people were outside and watched this guy walk past them into the parking lot.
Right. Okay.
That's also another area that we're looking into our crime suppression team, see if we can do anything proactively to catch the suspects while they're doing it. So we're still coming up with a
You mentioned you got a flock camera out there?
There's a Fusus camera on each entrance of
Oh, this is, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. This guy just walked in then.
Yeah,
That's the
you
issue.
walked in. Yeah, and there is a flock camera at Graves and Normandy right now.
Okay.
So next burglary we have on Yellowbird. The victim was awoken by his dog and observed suspects attempting to gain entry via the front window of his residence. This was also TOT'd over to CID.
Is this the one that they sent me the video? They sent you?
That is correct. We had a citizen send us a video of an individual that pulled into her driveway. We were able to identify the vehicle. The vehicle actually came back to the landlord of the burglary suspect's house. We have since the other meeting, they obtained the DVR from the victim's residence where he said he has cameras, but he didn't know if they worked. We reviewed all that video, and there's nothing on video to support that what he's saying had happened. We interviewed the landlord yesterday and his wife. They've had issues with this guy, and they're trying to get him evicted out of there, so I'm not sure what.
So that's why he's filing the burglary report or attempted burglary, because he's in a dispute with his landlord?
Possible, yeah. We don't have anything to support the burglar. We're going to change that in Ivers to a suspicious incident.
Okay.
The next burglary on Magnolia Woods. The victim advised she left her vehicle unlocked overnight with her purse inside. When she awoke and entered her vehicle, She observed it was rummaged through and her wallet was missing. This was TOT'd over CID.
Yeah, this case was assigned to Detective Borbley. We obtained video surveillance of where the credit cards were being used at here in Deltona. Through that video surveillance and everything, we were able to possibly identify the suspect. We then, which is Marquise Jordan, black male, 11/17/2000. His probation officer positively identified him through the video. We have a warrant out for his arrest currently, and he does have a warrant for BOP.
What's he on probation for?
I think grand theft of a firearm, I think is what it is.
Your CST team got him as making him a project?
They're aware of it, and they're working on it. He's had, the vehicle that he used hasn't come back to the county. They're staying.
So we got the tag, so it's not, hasn't come back in the county, okay.
Yes, sir.
Where's he from?
Well, his grandmother lives here in Deltona, and he's from Orlando area.
Okay.
The next burglary was already spoken about at the Nutty Bavarian by CID, which brings us down to the next, Giovanni. The victim left his residence the night prior and arrived today and observed pry marks on his front door. When he entered the home, he observed the house was ransacked. This was TOT'd over CID.
Yeah, we believe this to be the ex-girlfriend that got arrested for DV from the residence, that she came back with her new boyfriend and basically took her stuff. We're still trying to locate her for interview.
Okay.
The next burglary, this occurred 6 months ago, where the victim didn't want to do anything until he spoke to his insurance company that said they wouldn't do anything without a report. This is kind of where we get into our clearances. So he didn't want to do anything at the time. Now he does, and we're so far behind. It's gonna hurt on a clearance because
Right.
we do have the crime, and we have such a long time frame of trying to identify the suspect. Because we have to do a couple things to clear it out. Either we have to have a suspect and know who it is, and then the victim doesn't want to pursue, or we have to make an arrest. And those are how we either clear it by arrest or clear it exceptionally. So right now, we're kind of suspended in this one.
What's he reporting stolen?
His dirt bike.
His dirt bike valued at, what do you think?
A couple $1,000s.
Okay.
The next DV robbery, this is a robbery by just grabbing the cell phone.
Yep.
They're classified as a robbery, although they're not charged with robbery due to the domestic relationship. But because of the reporting standards, it gets documented as such. We're never going to charge these people with robbery, but per the FBI, it is a robbery. The next motor vehicle theft on LCAM. The reporting party is representative of a golf course and advised after a recent inventory, one was missing. This was TOT'd over CID.
They're currently reviewing the video surveillance on that. We believe it wasn't taken overnight because none of the, where it's stored at was tampered with or anything. It was locked. So we believe that was possibly taken during the day by patrons that utilized the golf cart during the course of the, on the course. We've checked the surrounding power line areas on vehicles. Haven't found it. We're going to get with some of the drone units to see if we can do some flyovers in there to maybe possibly locate if it was kids that took it.
Are these, the two suspects listed, are they viable suspects?
We've already interviewed one that was already on scene. We don't believe that he's going to be involved in it.
Okay.
The next robbery at Finland and South Anchor. The victim advised he was riding his bike to a friend's house when he was attacked by two black males. One of the males allegedly put the victim in a chokehold, brandished a firearm, and stole his phone and gold chain. This was turned over to CID.
Yeah, so this case is very suspicious in nature. The juvenile was going to meet his juvenile girlfriend at about 2 in the morning to smoke marijuana together. His story's changed multiple times. It's very inconsistent. We believe it's going to be a drug deal gone bad. There's no video. Many things in his story just keep changing. So we're going to try to do a geofence and see if we can put any phones in the area.
We got his cell phone pinged somewhere after the robbery?
Yeah, after the robbery, his cell phone is pinged in a drug area in DeLand. We're unable to locate it, though, unfortunately, due to where it was. We're looking to do a couple drug dealers in the area, see if they fruit if anything there.
Okay. Are we able to get his text messages through the provider?
We can look into getting his phone. I believe his mom provided us the phone. We already went through it because his mom was very mad.
Okay.
That he was over there at 2 in the morning trying to buy drugs.
Okay.
So.
The next robbery at LHO in an alleyway, the victim advised they had an Orbeez gun and shot the back of the window of the suspect's car. According to the victim, the suspect exited the vehicle, grabbed the Orbeez gun from the victim's hand, struck him and left. This is TOT over CID.
Okay, actually yesterday we were able to change this to a suspicious incident. We identified the alleged suspect, provided both juveniles with photo lineups. They were unable to pick them out. We identified another suspect matching the vehicle description, unable to pick him out again. We think the kids are lying. They did more than they said, and it was kind of some street justice, but there's nothing to support it was a robbery, so this will be changed to a suspicious incident, UCR.
So it could be they shot at the car, the guy got pissed off and said, give me that gun, and then got in the car and drove away.
Yeah, they said they shot at it. I think they actually shot the guy, and he turned around, and they don't want to hear his side of the story because they'll probably get in trouble, go to jail themselves.
Right.
So he administered a little street justice.
The next robbery, the victim arranged to sell her vehicle on Facebook Marketplace. Suspect showed up. They ended up having a disagreement. Suspect pulled a handgun, grabbed the money back from the victim, and fled. This was a really good. This worked out very well between patrol, CID, and Seminole County or Sanford. We were able to identify the suspect within an hour, easily.
Yeah, it was great teamwork by everyone involved. Seminole County did a great job locking down the vehicle in the house of the RO. Went over there, interviewed the RO. She said my fiance was driving the vehicle, identified her from the video surveillance. We showed a picture of the suspect to the victim, picked her right out of the lineup. There was another suspect in the vehicle in the passenger seat, which we thought was going to be the RO because at one point she said babe during the robbery. The victim was unable to pick her out. The RO of the vehicle was more than cooperative, gave us consent to search the vehicle or house, whatever we needed. So we can kind of cancel her out of the investigation. We are going to do a geofence and just see if the RO of the vehicle's phone was at the scene of the robbery at the time.
And all this stemmed over the car was a stick shift, not an automatic.
Yeah, she couldn't figure out how to drive, so she got mad and wanted her money back. So it's kind of her fault.
Okay.
And we tried to interview her too at the jail and see if she would come off of who was in the vehicle with her, and she already had an attorney there at the same time as we got there. So.
What's her prior criminal history like?
She is 0 felonies,
Wow.
1 misdemeanor charge, 0 convictions. So she ruined her whole life over a vehicle she couldn't figure out how to drive.
What's a carjacking? Yeah.
Yeah.
The next shoplifting, we have a affidavit at the state attorney's office, and the next 2 were cleared by arrest, which brings us to the theft on Finlay. The victim stated he left his gun on his nightstand prior to leaving his residence. When the victim returned home, he discovered his firearm was missing. This was TOT'd over CID.
Yeah, the victim picked up his companion from Florida in Beersford and Deland, where he took her to his house, left his pistol allegedly on his nightstand while he left for 2 hours, leaving her there. Surprising, when he came back, the gun wasn't there and she wasn't there. We're still trying to locate her for interview. We attempted to get a warrant based on what we had with the state. They denied it at this point. So we're just still looking for the suspect in this to interview to possibly make a PC arrest on her.
Yeah, well, you were much more politer than I would have called her what she is. She practices the oldest profession, I think is the best way to say that.
The next theft from a motor vehicle on Piedmont. Suspect pulled up to the front of the victim's residence, then proceeds to rummage through the bed of the victim's truck and toolbox. This was TOT'd over CID.
Yeah, Detective Richardson was assigned this case. He did a really good job of, through the video surveillance that we had at the scene and the witness, locating the vehicle through our flock and fuses cameras. We identified the vehicle, interviewed the RO of the vehicle, which was Miss Cindy Cellular. She lied from the beginning. However, she did give us some truths on after the fact, which we were able to tie that in to video surveillance in Seminole County, where we identified the boyfriend, Alonzo Ricardo, who was also arrested a week prior to that in DeBerry for a car theft. The deputy in DeBerry that arrested him was able to pick him out of the video surveillance from Sanford and identify him. We got 2 warrants on them. They have both been picked up on those warrants. Location of the leaf blower is unknown at this time. We wasn't able to look at it.
Very good.
The next step for motor vehicle, the witness advised he was leaving to go to work when he observed 3 males in dark clothing walking around the victim's vehicle. The witness observed the front passenger window to be broken and shattered on the ground. When he confronted the subjects, they all ran from the area. Deputies did respond with canine and other resources. Were unable to locate them. This was turned over to CID.
Yeah, this one we believe to be some of the neighbors. The victim had a disagreement with one of their neighbors where he alleged stole their trash can. We interviewed several juvenile suspects in the area, unable to determine if they're responsible for the break-in at this point. We're still working on with some geofences and stuff like that.
That brings it with crime, but I would like to go into the
Touch on the Walmart car stop. 2 firearms came out of there.
That's going to be the last one.
Located, the vehicle was fleeing and eluding from us for quite a while. Finally, it caught up to it in the Walmart parking lot. 2 guns.
It's the last one.
Yeah. Yes, this is a vehicle that has been running for us for a little while. It's going back and forth. The deputies were able to locate it eventually and get a traffic stop on it. We were able to get those. We were located a couple firearms and cannabis inside the vehicle. We're still looking into it to see if there's anything more with them.
Anything come back from Nibens? From those 2 guns?
No, sir.
Nothing came back? Okay.
And their criminal history is minimal. Yesterday, a traffic op was done, weekly traffic op was done, and ended up in Deltona yesterday. That included with 69 traffic stops, 81 citations, 6 warnings, 7 misdemeanor arrests, and 7 reports. Now, this is something where we bring in outside resources that the city of Deltona doesn't pay for to supplement Deltona, so we can hit it really hard every now and then to let people know that we want safe streets in the city of Deltona, and we're not going to tolerate aggressive drivers. So that worked out well. We do plan on having other traffic operations. We do them regularly. Once they come in, I'll let you guys know. Or the city know when we plan on doing that, and let you know the results of them. I did end up pulling the offense cleared for this past rating as well. So right now at all Group A, we're sitting at around a 69% just for this month. Now keep in mind when I spoke about
Explain what Group A is.
Group A are different type of crimes. So we have the person's crimes in it. They're mostly more serious crime. You have homicide, human trafficking, kidnapping, forcible offenses, aggravated assaults, simple assaults. You also have property crimes that goes into arson, robbery, larceny, thefts, to some others, as well as gambling, animal cruelty, and frauds. For this period alone, we were at a 69% clearance rate for all Group A, which is extremely well. But as I said in some of these, that we have suspects, we have affidavits out, we have warrants out. We can't clear it until there's arrest. So even though we have 3 or 4 warrants, that kind of goes against the overall clearance rate because we have not put them in jail. So once they get put in jail, it flips over, and then we get credit for it at that point. But this is just for this month. This isn't for the entire year, and then these stats are normally calculated at the end of the year. So we'll get a more clear picture at the end of the year what exactly our clearance rate is, but we're still probably almost
2.5 times.
Yes, the national average for clearance. So the city of Deltona.
You brought something up. It wasn't in this reporting period. I'm sorry to cut you off, but the burglary on Deltona Boulevard into the gambling place that went into the nail place, the guy through the walls.
Yeah, that was in Orange City.
It was Orange City.
Yeah, that was the one with the. We did have the burglary on Deltona Boulevard. I think it was a smoke shop.
Smoke shop.
It involved a juvenile, and we were able to track her down through video surveillance and arrest her. That was just a few weeks ago.
Yes.
The lines are blurred. What else you got?
That's pretty much where we're at the moment.
Eric, want to talk about narcotics, countywide overview, and what we got going on in the city?
Sure, absolutely. My name's Eric Dietrich. I'm the commander of our narcotics task force. For the first 6 months of the year, Deltona narcotics enforcement teams closed 115 cases, made 67 arrests, executed 8 search warrants, seized over 200 grams of cocaine, over 10 pounds of cannabis, over 100 grams of fentanyl, and 190 grams of meth. Total value of that is around $82,000. In addition to their efforts on narcotics, they also focus on the vape shops and underage alcohol being sold. So we've conducted 2 operations thus far, targeting 20 different stores in the city of Deltona. During that time, there was 9 violations, so just under 50%. There's 2 repeat offenders during that time, which we will continue to monitor through the rest of the year.
Did the one guy get fired that said, I'm going to get fired? This is the second time I got caught doing this?
I believe so, yes. But we also have conducted a countywide park operation targeting on lewd and lascivious activity in the various county parks. There was one here in District 4 that we received complaints on. It was Green Springs Parks on Lake Shore. We ended up making 1 arrest out of there, and we made a total of 9 arrests. The majority of the lewd and lascivious activity is actually happening over on the east side of the county. So over here, we were happy to see that we only had 1 offender that was in there and no other activity that was going on in there. In addition to the Deltona Narcotics Enforcement Team, we also have the Volusia Bureau of Investigation, which is a countywide upper-level HIDA task force, which investigates drug trafficking organizations. They completed a 8-month investigation targeting a drug trafficking organization that was based out of Daytona Beach. It was very large. We ended up arresting 38 individuals during that investigation, all of which were charged with trafficking level, which are all the upper level narcotics sales. It's not just selling to one person. A trafficking charge is determined by weight of what you're selling. So those are upper level dealers that were all arrested in that investigation. The majority of them, that drug trafficking organization was spread throughout the county. We saw it all the way from Ormond to Oak Hill and all the way over here from Deltona to DeLand. But there was 2 members of that organization that were living here in Deltona. Both of them have been arrested. And how that impacts, I truly believe all of our efforts, along with the Overdose Task Force, is making a dent in our battle on the fentanyl front. Right now, year to date, since the beginning of the year, our countywide overdoses are at 644. That's down 26% from last year. Our countywide deaths are 114, which is down 16% from last year, same time period. How that compares to the city of Deltona. Within the city of Deltona, 54 overdoses year to date, which is down 32%, where last year we were at 80 at the same time frame. And how that compares in overdose deaths in Deltona, I'm happy to report that we are at 8, which is down 50%, where we were at 16% last year.
Of those 8, with the overdose task force, have we gotten anything that's possibly going to end up in front of a grand jury as far as targeting the dealer?
So we have, and actually just in the past month and a half, we've arrested 2 individuals that are a direct result from a fatal overdose in the city of Deltona. Those cases are still active, so we can't talk a whole lot about them. But 2 of those led directly from fatal overdoses.
The group that we just took down and you just dismantled, what's your estimate that they were bringing into the county a month during that investigation?
They were dealing in fentanyl, meth, and heroin, and it was multiple kilos a month that they were actually dealing. I mean, my estimate would be anywhere from 5 to 10, and usually those are on the low aspect of what they're doing based on what we're finding in our investigation and what we're hearing. So, I mean,
what was surprising was the morning we served all those warrants, how much, if you remember off the top of your head, how much stuff did we recover? They were holding in their houses.
Yes. Yes.
I know I'm taxing your memory.
One house had almost 200 grams of fentanyl in it. That was actually wrapped in a baby diaper,
right.
In a Crown Royal bag.
That was the dead giveaway when you guys were searching, right?
Yeah.
Crown Royal bag.
But overall, during the course of that investigation, they ended up seizing 16 pounds of meth and I believe almost a kilo of fentanyl.
Yeah, it was an incredible hit.
Sure, I have a question.
Yeah.
Actually, two questions. The first one is, besides the two drug dealers, these are the incidents that have happened in Deltona. How many of them are Deltona residents? You know, the robberies and all that. How many of them are?
What I could do for you is we will have somebody sitting back there getting ready to go on vacation. Do me a favor and pull, if you can, you guys can go through and cull through the arrests for the first 6 months and let us know, you know, we made X number of arrests and X number of people from.
Okay. I would feel helpful because, especially for the news reporters, because they seem to think that Deltona is the bad apple.
That's because they listen to a certain county council person.
Exactly. But anyway, the other question is, there's a new drug that's being sold at the gas stations. I just read, saw it in the news. They wrote the name of it, and I totally let them home. So, but supposedly it's sold over the counter, and I can't think of it. I don't even know who I am right now this morning.
Yeah.
We'll take a look. We have, you know, like I said, they're going into big shops, they're going into where it's being sold.
Yeah, it's supposedly at the gas stations. It's over the counter, but it's a new drug that is just as bad as the fentanyl and stuff like that. So,
Well, when they have new substances, because you know fentanyl is a chemical compound, and when they change those, they have to be defined in federal and state statutes as being controlled by the DEA, and until that happens, it's not a violation of law for us to do anything. So that has happened in the past with some of the bath crystals and bath salts that in the past where they would change the chemical compound and they would be able to sell it until essentially the legislation caught up with it. But we'll look into what you're if you can remember the name of what you're talking about. I'm not. So.
I know.
Okay.
But and I think the news also mentioned that it was not part of the FDA or whatever. It is supposed to be some kind of weight loss. You know, these things that they sell for weight loss and stuff like that. But it is a very dangerous.
Well, when you get the name, text it to me and I'll send it over to you.
Okay.
And then we'll do some research. So
I can erase for that. I would get a raise for this.
you get a raise? No, you got to put that in there so you can get on the agenda. Get your raise. Julian, we, I think last year in just Volusia County, we had the crimes that are fraud against the elderly, we're looking at 4.5 million. And I think it probably breaks down 55% of those frauds were on the west side of the county, 45%, if my memory serves me correctly. It doesn't serve me as well as it used to at times. It's like my hair, it's thinning.
More sure. We had a big case in the east side of the county that made that number astronomical for the year. But typically, most of the frauds happen in the west side of the county. And what we've seen recently, we've had some scams that are repeating themselves. They were quiet for a while, and now they're back. They're all impersonation scams. We have the U.S.-based scammers. Recently, we've had several cases on the east side and west side of the county. Both, we believe, there's the same group out of Miami, but typically they impersonate attorneys of loved ones who allegedly have been in a car accident. They hurt someone and they need bail money, and they will send an Uber or Lyft driver to pick up the package. There, of course, are unsuspecting individuals. They pick up the package and deliver them 3-4 counties to the south. Those are U.S.-based. We've identified 2 of those people. We just found out that the same group out of Miami has been involved in several scams in other counties. We're working with all of them. Like I said, we've identified 2 of them. We are going to have charges on them. Several other victims' information have been seized from a ledger that one of the individuals had in Miami. We have the foreign-based scams also impersonating law enforcement officer, federal agencies. They'll tell the victim that their identity is being compromised. Someone has been using their identity all over the country. They need to take the money, all the life savings, and put them in secure accounts. And they'll go to the bank and then deposit the money to these Bitcoin ATM machines. We are taking some proactive measures on that. We are going to put flyers in all these gas stations right on top of the ATM machines, warning people that if somebody send them there, then they're getting scammed. There's a phone number for them to call the sheriff's office to report it. We'd love to do the same thing at retailers that sell gift cards. Unfortunately, you're dealing with corporate bureaucracy that the store managers cannot make that decision whether we can put flyers on top of the displays that sell gift cards. But this is what we've seen lately. These scams evolve, and of course we have to pick up after we get the scams. The process of recovery money is, especially of foreign individuals, is very tedious. It takes a lot of time. A lot of this, especially these crypto exchanges, are not based in the U.S. There are several of them that voluntarily cooperate with law enforcement. They don't have to. And we've had, let's say, good success in recovering money. In the past 2 years, 2.5 years, we recovered about $1.6 million that went back to the victims. It does not represent the whole amount, but it's a good chunk of money.
I think, was it the Deltona resident you presented the check to?
There were
His son talked her into.
They were at the land, yes.
It was in the land. Okay. Very good. Anything else? I mean, I know we've put flyers into water bills. We've held God knows how many symposiums on this topic. We just showed a movie called Thelma where 152 people showed up to that, and then two of your detectives were there and did a phenomenal job warning everybody, and then the next day you open up and there's three. You open up the crime report and there's 3 frauds right in there again.
Right, we're being proactive. We're trying. Unfortunately, we can't stop every scam, but we're doing our best.
I think one of the unseen things that nobody talks about, especially when you talk at the guy that was here from China, that was part of that $1 million one, who they caught trying to leave the country after he got out on bond. I don't think people realize that, you know, you have elderly folks who get completely wiped out financially, and the only thing left for them to do is kill themselves. And I don't know the rate of that, but I know that is something that nobody thinks about. A lot of people don't think about that. These people lost everything.
That's actually true. It's we had a scam out of Warman Beach, I believe it was last year, and the victim lost over $600,000, all his life savings, and he actually texted the scammer and said that, look, I got nothing left. I think I'm going to kill myself. Went to the neighbor. The neighbor was worried, so we had to send deputies back and talk to him. He voluntarily gave the firearm over to a relative. We were able to recover some money. The individual was out of Los Angeles, the suspect, Chinese national, traveling back and forth. We actually had the federal law enforcement partners arrest him as he's trying to leave for China. He's been extradited. He's currently in jail in Los Angeles. He's going to be brought back here.
Good.
Where did you have that movie?
The only movie theater in the county having it is Hollywood Movie Theater in Port Orange. They're the only ones that are playing it. Now, if you can put the word out and people want to go over there, we can do it again, because I paid for it. I paid for it. It's property of the movie theater. That's the only problem is because we checked to see if there was a way we could move it and take it around. We can't. But if you want to look at a date and say, hey, sheriff's paying for the seats, and we could do 140 people. Like I said, it's based on a true story of a 75-year-old woman who got defrauded by your grandson was in a car accident. He needs money, and she sends $10,000, and she does her own police work, you know, and is able to track down exactly where it went, the post office box, and who was responsible.
This evening?
We did it at 2:00 in the afternoon.
Doc, you think we can transport it?
I mean, we'll get with the theater. Andrew will get with the theater because Andrew's actually the one that set it up, and we could offer that, in particular for seniors. You know, it's lighthearted, it's funny, but it makes you think, because it makes you think that here's just one person trying to fight against age, wants to stay independent. You know, I can't drive anymore, but I want to stay financially independent. I want to be put in an assisted living facility, and and I'm not going to stand for this. So we think. I mean, what would you think? Overall, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you say?
It went fantastic. Every person in the theater, it seemed like, had a story about either being scammed or someone trying to scam them.
And then, like I said, the detectives were there, and they were talking about, you know, how to protect yourself. You know, about getting your every 3 months or every 6 months, making sure you're checking your credit score. Don't answer the phone if you see a strange number. Don't respond to text messages. You know, they went through the whole litany, and then they tied that into what we're actually investigating on what's going on, and that's where the suicide thing came up on that. So I think when the movie was over, 5 people left. Everybody else stayed for the presentation by the detectives. So if you guys want to get together, we'll certainly run the theater out. Yeah. School command, where are you?
Right here, sir.
School's 3 weeks away. Okay, I can hardly wait. Neither can you. This is Todd Smith. Captain Smith, when we got a new superintendent of schools in, they decided to do a different model. And the model is that the captain is to coordinate all activities between the sheriff's office, the police department, and the school district when it comes to school safety. So go ahead.
I'm Captain Smith, the Commander of Youth Services, and we're gearing up for, obviously, the next school year. 2 weeks ago, we held a full-scale reunification exercise with approximately 200 participants, both the state and local level, at DeLand High School. The exercise focused on reunifying children with their parents after a crisis. And we got all the stakeholders together and made sure that we were good to go and we knew what we were doing. We've also started working with private schools on hardening and threat management, looking to see how we can make their campuses safer through the design of the campus itself, as well as mitigating any threats that come across their purview. And then finally, we're adding a weapons detection canine to our comprehensive safety plan. The canine's capable of finding a single bullet in a room full of backpacks. Obviously, that's something that keeps me up at night, the potential that a weapon could be on one of our campuses. And this is a really valuable tool that we can add to all of our other tools that we have, like Gaggle, Fortify Florida, the actual design of the school where it's protecting the students itself. So we're keeping our foot on the gas, not letting up, and doing our best to make sure that our kids are protected.
2 quick questions. DARE, where are we with DARE this school?
We're going to be rolling it out at McGinnis Elementary in, Ms. Carter, you remember, was it September or October?
It'll be 3 days a week because you have to do all the 5th grade classes. The first class will start September 4th and run until November, and we'll end up doing approximately 65 5th graders that attend McGinnis Elementary.
How many DARE officers do we have, certified DARE officers?
In the sheriff's office, we will have 2.
2.
And where is it going to start?
McGinnis Elementary?
Yeah, DeLeon Springs.
Want to talk about the volunteer school crossing guards?
Yes. So we are putting together a program where individuals that want to volunteer to cross students at a specific location, like across a driveway or something like that, can volunteer. It wouldn't normally meet the standards where we would provide a crossing guard because it doesn't fall within the standards. But if somebody wants to volunteer, then they can reach out to the Family Resource Center. We'll get them signed up so that they can take the training. We'll get them trained, get them the appropriate equipment, make sure that the place that they want to cross is actually a viable location. So you can't cross kids on dirt. You have to have an ADA compliant crossing. So you just can't, I want to cross here and it's not safe. So we have to make sure that the location that they are crossing is a viable location, and then we'll get them trained, and then they can go out and volunteer to do the job.
Talk about the packet, when the training is going to occur, because that's something they probably want to get out to their next meeting. August 6th or
So the
something?
packet, we can get it to them through digital means, or they can go to the Family Resource Center. All they have to do is contact the Family Resource Center, and we can get them the information that they need. It does require some notaries. I don't remember when the training class is.
Was it August 6th?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Do they come to us or?
What they're doing is, now, the PTA, we had a video conference with the PTA the other day. PTA is putting it out to all the PTA presidents for all the schools, areas, and then and what they're doing is they're listing the criteria. Because number one, you're dealing with children, so you have to go through a background check. You have to get fingerprinted, you have to do all this stuff. And then they'll send us, this is the locations we're thinking, but they know their schools, they know it better than we do. We'll go out and evaluate it, and then we'll train them and give them the equipment they need. And then it's up to the PTA president for that school to make sure that crossing is staffed. And
The
there's
city has not.
no, and the staffing is based on what each school its own really neighborhood. So we do, by a general way, we do it, and we have X number of dollars to put X number of people out there, but if the school feels they need other things covered, we believe they can do this through the PTA program. It's kind of just like we do with our COPs. We have volunteers that are trained to direct traffic. They don't get paid, they're volunteers. And then they also can write parking tickets for us. So that's what we use in that concept and say, hey, if you got a parent, somebody might work at night work, and they take their kid to school in the morning, well, if they want to get here an extra half hour earlier, that's fantastic. And somebody else might be getting done work, you get here a little earlier, and hopefully we can maximize the use of all the PTA that bring that to fruition.
So we can count on you guys again to be sponsors of helmets?
Carla?
Somebody teach it.
No, helmets, we don't.
Wait, I'm moving out of the way.
The AMSCOT used to do the helmet program, and they stopped doing that after COVID. That's what
We did it last year.
No, we did. We gave out bicycles, but not helmets.
Can we buy the helmets? I know.
No, we got it from TPO and all those people donated. And the sheriff department, they used.
Well, let me ask this, do we have a contact at AMSCOT that maybe we can have the elected officials reach out, and as part of the backpack giveaway day that Deltona is having, we can have them team up with us and do
Yes.
bike helmets?
You hope I last year.
I could reach out to them.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I just remember getting
I'll
bored.
show you the way out.
We'll make care of that. Thanks.
So you got that, you're going to take care of that?
Yeah, I'm gonna reach out.
We'll reach out to AMSCOT and we'll have them reach out to you guys.
To the bike project, because
I can take that
last
out.
year.
Absolutely.
Okay. Carl, you want to touch on what's going on?
Sadly, we're seeing more violent juvenile crime with guns, kids with possessions of guns, younger and younger. We're, again, still seeing kids testing positive for oxy and fentanyl and meth in their vapes because it's THC and something else in there, and an increase in alcohol.
July 1st, a new law went into effect. Anybody want to touch base on that? With the juveniles? All right, I'll wing it. Somebody else will do it. You want to talk about it? Go ahead. You've been so quiet. We just want to let you talk a little bit. We want the city manager to really understand who Carla Kwan is.
On July 1st, they passed House Bill 1181, which is going to change some of the dynamics of juvenile crime and how long juveniles can stay in the detention center. And they've gotten hard on crimes involving guns, firearms, robberies. And if a kid goes to a commitment program, which is also known as kiddie prison, when they get out, they will wear an ankle monitor for 6 months. Kids can stay in detention longer than 21 days. Kids who violate their probation or home detention, they will automatically go to detention and not be released back on the street. So we'll see how it works out, but it just, again, it took effect July 1st, so it's still new in the process of seeing how it's going to evolve into something.
You want to touch up on some of the new programs that we have inside of the center now?
Inside the center, at the Family Resource Center, we have Children's Home Society that deals with families of kids who has a diagnosis. So they will provide alternative counseling, whether it's music, art therapy. So there's other alternatives than just doing telehealth or one-on-one counseling. In addition, we now have 2 Halifax behavior care coordinators that will work with the families to find various services for kids as young as 3 months old, because we've seen an increase in domestic violence and kids being in the home and the trauma that the kids are seeing from the domestic violence. Although they're not the actual victim, they are a victim of the incident, and it plays a role. And with that being said, that's a learned behavior. So now we've seen an increase in juveniles beating up their parents on the other side because they've learned it throughout their life. So we're trying to close that gap and put services in place before it gets out of hand. And the school board is also in the Family Resource Center, and they provide services to the family, especially kids who have been suspended for getting arrested, to expedite the process to get the kids back into school sooner so they're not roaming the streets to continue to commit crimes or whatever they were doing.
So as you know, the county gave us some ARPA money, and they purchased a building for us and repurposed it, and it's a juvenile assessment center / family reunification center. So every kid in the county that gets locked up has to go there. And after they get processed, all those entities that Carla mentioned screen that kid and that family before they ever see a judge, in hope that there's stuff that's put in there to avert them out of criminality. That's the back door. The front door is any parent in the county. Because the number one email I get is, my kid smells like weed, his marks are plummeting, he's hanging out with the wrong crowd, it's a matter of time. I'm a single parent. What I do, bring the kid in. Those same services are available to you as well to do that. So I think we've had, how many kids come through the door?
Since we've opened less than 2 years ago, we've seen almost 4,000 kids.
Oh, wow. But we do take, like, any kid that is going to be sent to a secure facility in the juvenile circuit, Putnam, St. John's, Flagler, and us, they have to go there for a mental health screening before they go to the secure facility. But we do have other folks, like Putnam County is sending their folks in, their kids into it. Flagler has, Bunnell has, so we've had other cities in the circuit say, hey, we just locked this juvenile for the 3rd time. Is there any way we can get him into your facility? So it's not an overnight facility. It's you can't use it, did you?
No,
You haven't been over?
I think it was.
Well, it's open. If you guys don't want to come over, it's open door. Paula loves to get tours. Matter of fact, there's all brand new juvenile judges coming over. When are they coming over?
August
The
16th.
chief judge wants all the new juvenile judges to go over to see all the programs that are there, that are available. Well, have you been in there? Well, it's open. Maybe when you take everybody to see Thelma, you guys can get driven over to see that while they're watching the movie.
Are you in the same way that our mayor needs to see Delma?
You know, I gotta tell you, I enjoyed it. I mean, I enjoyed it. I'm 60 in a room of people that are, you know, a little bit older than me. I'm looking there saying, they're there. And there's where I'm at. The motor scooter, you can go food shopping. Don't laugh down. Go get there yourself. And Dave, the other one. You're the crime meeting. I just want to let you know, the victim's a little other than 1963. I'm like, Lieutenant Liberty, I'm sorry. Any questions about anything? Mayor, anything?
I don't have a question, but I just, FEMA president was supposed to be here. Unfortunately, something came up, he couldn't make it. But he just wanted me to extend thank you to the Sheriff's Department for partnering with them and the city doing the bike ride Memorial Day. Thank you so much. You guys did an awesome job. Lieutenant Mills, he showed up to every single meeting and came up with good ideas, good suggestions, listened to us.
Right?
Yeah. And so, the whole team, and those that came from the other areas did an excellent job. I mean, the bike ride was so smooth. And for being the first one, we had 125 bikers that rode took the ride. And that's not including the ones that came to visit here, but couldn't join the ride. And they're already looking to, they're asking me, when do we start the meeting for next year? So I'm like, you know what, I need a break. So hopefully next year it'll be much bigger and the city manager approves it. So we just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. You guys did a fantastic job.
We were out here, it was a great event.
It was great, but you had to be out there. I mean, I was on
You can't do it for bicycles.
Huh?
You can't do it for bicycles.
But
We're getting more to the
listen,
sidewalk.
even our fire truck couldn't keep up with you guys. I was on the fire truck. I'm not a biker. So, huh?
She did it.
Here we go again. Did that yesterday too. No, but the thing is that the route that they took, every time we got to a crossing, your guys were already there. Stop the traffic. And, they just rode. They didn't stop at all. It was non-stop ride. So kudos to you guys. Of course, you've always, my best.
I forgot one person in particular. Eric was back there giving one of these issues on the talk. So now you got it. Eric runs our training academy, and I just wanted to give you an update on our recruitment, training, and where we're at. I'm proud to say that probably for the first time in 20 years, we are fully staffed for this course.
Eric was on
20 years.
First time in 20 years.
That's impressive.
Full staff.
Congratulations on that.
Hey, good morning. My name is Eric Egan. I am the Training Academy Director for the Sheriff's Office. Happy to say that we're in our 4th year of running our training academy. We just started our 7th class of new recruits that have no law enforcement experience. And let's see, they started last month, and they're due to graduate in January.
When is their Deltona run?
I don't know off the top of my head.
When you find it, send it out to the city manager and he can blast it out there. They run through the day. Four runs?
Yes, sir.
4 runs, and then we do 4 separate parts of the county. Deltona is one of the runs. Deltona, Wilbur, and...
I think Daytona.
And Daytona.
Yeah, Margaritaville, I think.
Margaritaville.
Yes, sir.
Which has a nice turnout.
Yes, yeah.
Even in the rain.
Yeah, huge community support, which we definitely appreciate, and that's awesome for the recruits to see that community support. So we're in our 4th year, 7th class. We've got 8 recruits in the class. We've graduated more than 120 recruits in the last 4 years. We are starting a new deputy training class next month. And those are for law enforcement officers that already have more than a year's experience that will be coming on board with us. So we put them through a 10-week training program, and then they go to the field. We just had 14 deputies that were released.
Not released from the organization, released.
Right, released from our training program, and were assigned to road patrol. Several of those positions filled positions in Deltona. We also do advanced and specialized training, so some training that all our deputies and sergeants are going through right now is single officer response to active threat and shooting. Basically, and the sheriff has said this multiple times publicly, if there's something bad happening, the deputy's not going to wait on backup. He's going to go in and take care of the problem. So that's additional training that we send all our deputies through. And we just finished school guardian class, and we had 4 new school guardians that went through 139-hour training with our instructors, and that's mandated by the state. And next training that we've got in
Sandy Jackson probably had that information, but he wasn't there.
in a little over a week is active shooter incident management, and that will be training that all our lieutenants will be going through. It's sad that we have to have this conversation that we have to go through this training for active shooter, active killer. incidents, but our deputies are prepared.
I know, I'm going to throw you a curveball, you're probably not going to get it. In this hiring, this 120 people that graduated, do you know the number of the Deltona kids who were born and raised here or in that part of the organization?
I do not have that number. If I had to guess, it'd probably be around 15, 20.
Because I know when you sit there and you go to the background, you see Pine Ridge, you see Deltona High, you see that at least the kids that are born and raised here want to stay here and work here, which is one of our main goals of being in the schools is that hey, this is not a bad way to live. I still live where I grew up.
Foundation of community policing.
There you go. Real quick, we just got a report about active shooter. You want to summarize that?
Yeah, the FBI published a report for last year's active killer incidents across the nation, and surprisingly, only 3 of those occurred in schools. The trend now is open air type, targets, fireworks event, and all these other, open air where you have large groups of people. Additionally to that, they pointed out something that was a little alarming, that these incidents actually evolved into 2 separate locations, meaning the offender or the offenders are in transit, so they'll commit one act of mass violence and then they'll get into a vehicle and go somewhere else. So as you can imagine, when you're getting the hundreds of 911 calls bogging the system down, that really makes the situation complex and having to deploy resources to find this person. So we have a focus group based upon that information. We're making sure that we are prepared both through training and through equipment to handle those type of situations. I think over the years we've focused on schools, and now we're seeing that the trend is changing. So we're going to adapt and make sure that we are ready if that were to happen. And I'll point this out. I think if you go back and look at incidents that happened in years past, a lot of these cities you've never heard of, right? Everyone knows Las Vegas and these other ones. So I guess we have to make sure we always stay saying it could happen here.
Did we ever talk to you guys about Live 911?
Yes.
You guys have heard about that? Okay.